Well, just playing with my antenna. I got it up in here. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it or not. See if I can zoom. Hell, I can't see it. Oh, I know where it's at. Come on down. There it is. See? The reason I'm doing this is just show you that everything doesn't work out in life. Got the antenna. There's the isolator. Because this comes down at 600 ohms. And well, the 4-to-1 balun converts it back to 50 ohms, and that's an isolator. Because part of the Windham is that this part here is actually a radiator. So you got vertical and horizontal elements. And then, easy to take down service. All you gotta do is put this and get to it. See how I use this rope to support the coax? Because that's a lot of weight to hold, coax to hold. Asking connectors to hold that kind of weight. It doesn't work for me. So I tie a knot, I hook it underneath the bottom SO239. And so that's not holding any of the weight. Comes down into my nice sealed box. Goes my new coax over to here. And over here we got a problem. And you got a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Before I show you my problem, I'm going to show you my success, my idea I had. This is cool. The end of a dipole or any wire antenna, most of the time you never have the right tie off. Me, I go over to those tall trees, tie up to them, but they start moving, they start ripping everything apart. I had this idea. I've been using these nice poles. I was just going to tie it off to this nice big heavy pole I'd buy. When I got this idea at Home Depot, they got this little tiny, fairly small, probably 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch conduit. It's not that expensive. And it actually has a union, so it screws together. I started out, I was going to use 10 foot. 10 foot would be enough to get it so Mandy could drive the gator under it. But what the hell, I put 2 of them together. And see how it works? Screw the bolt, put an eyelet through it, a couple sets of lock washers. Pull it up and down. Secure it here. Good. You can take it down real easy. You stub your crap down in there. I don't know what the winter's going to do to that pole. The water gets full of water. Hopefully it'll soak in the ground. But that works perfect. So you can stick one anywhere you want to. And then I put my reflectors on them. So that tower there, I know we could fix it. I just want to see how long it go before it'll fall over. Part of the reason it's lean so much is it's got this heavy weight. That antenna, because it's in that other huge tree over there, in the swing, it broke the first time I put it up, so it's not actually tied down. These weights here counterbalance it. So when the wind blows really hard, that pulley can let this go up. Lets the antenna come down. Gives it so it can move around. Okay, I mean, I know it looks like hillbilly heaven, but it is. That tower's only in the ground about 1 foot. I got to dig it out. Now that I got an auger, I can do that. But anyways, and I put one over there. You can't even see it from here. I'm thinking about taking them down, painting them green. I want to take them down. All I got to do to work on them is you release your tension here, right? Get your ladder out, pull it up, it comes down. I'm thinking seriously about painting these green. Some color, maybe over there brown so it blend in. You can't even see it. You know? And they'll move. I stress the wire enough to watch it. It moves fairly easy, so it'll move in the wind. We'll see how well it works, you know. But those are a great idea. I mean, you can put your into your dipole basically where you want to. I mean, I would have rather this have been straight out, but it wasn't long enough unless I put it over on my neighbor's property, and I just didn't want to do that. I imagine if I asked, he'd let me, but I don't like that. I don't like the old people. Could have moved this one over 3 or 4 feet, because that's a little longer on there. I had to guess to begin with. See? That one's not in a very... The pole I had was a shorter one, so it's in there. It ain't in very far. You see it? Right there. I could move it over to there if I wanted to. So I'm happy with the antenna installation. And ultimately it's going to work for me, what I want. This one should work better than my other one because it's not around any metal at all. Except I have a problem. I had probably 4 or 5, maybe even 6 years, this run of coax has been underground. And I hadn't used this vertical very much because I just didn't like the noise. I mean, great. It transmitted, it was wonderful. Didn't even have to have a tuner. And but it was so noisy that I couldn't hear anything on, not comfortably. And so, yeah, I should have checked it before I started doing all this stuff because it was in a waterproof box and everything. But it's only buried about maybe 3 or 4 inches deep. And it was buried across where that gator runs. And it was buried before the gator ran. So I think what happens is we've just, either it's got a bullet through it. And I don't know why, sometimes my son-in-law will stand over there and if he's testing something, he'll shoot in the ground. And he didn't know about this kind of stuff. He probably didn't do it anyway. But, I mean, this is how easy it comes up. I'll show you. See, that's how little in the ground it is. So getting it out won't be a problem. And I think I'm just going to rent that trencher again. I don't know if I'll put it in 18 inches deep, but I'll put it in a foot deep anyway. And I'll run it across here. There isn't any other wires or anything underground until I get over to the barn. And then we run into my, well, we don't want to run into my solar stuff. But my solar stuff comes out there. And there's 2 separate runs because I put those panels in at 2 separate times. Put 4 in first, then I put a second 4. Okay, the fat ones are the solar. So I'm thinking I can run this thing right up to here. And then from here, we'll have to dig by hand. Because I know the solar comes out and goes this way. Right? We'll hand dig this before we start trenching so I know what's going on. This is the one that feeds the coax. And yeah, I'm a little disheartened because I'm not going to be able to have it this fall, play with it this winter. But I was gonna redo it anyway in the spring or in the summer. I'm still alive, because what I want to do ultimately is I want to plant a tower right there. Not a very big one, maybe 25 feet, 30. I want it to be self-standing, self-supporting. When I do that, I'll have to figure out something else to do with that wire. I might have to, I don't know, bring it over to there or something like that. I'll figure something out. I don't know, but I want to put a beam on there for 20 meters, and that's why this is so important to me. I'm going to have get a bigger waterproof box then. You don't need to put these things in waterproof boxes, I'm about to tell you about, but I like to. My one up north is underneath the awning, so it doesn't get any water. It's been up there for years, and it works. Ameritron makes these switches. Well, I know MFJ's making them now, but you run one coax out, your power, everything comes through the coax, and you can switch to 4 different connections on it. So I'd be able to run the wire, and I want to put up that spider beam. They're about $700, and I've been bidding on towers on the all brick auction. I'd like to find one with a base. So this will get dug out then, and the tower is going to go right here. Okay. I've got a 70-foot aluminum over there, but it doesn't have a base, and I don't want to go up 70 foot. I don't want it to be drawing all the lightning and stuff. Isn't that cute? Look at the birds over there. I don't know if you're a bird person, but see the birds? They're out there eating when we're shooting. They don't care. They just sit there. It doesn't really scare them away that bad. I know. I'm officially old. I enjoy watching the birds eat. I do. They even shoot on the feeders next to the targets. But anyway, so the bad news is this ain't going to work till next year. I mean, the good news is I've got some good LMR 400, and that is variable rated. I'll bet money that this wasn't rated variable probably when I put it down. And it lasted for a while, but crap happens, right? I know part of me wants to go cut a 150-foot chunk of RG8X out here and just hook it up, make sure the antenna works, but what would be the point? And I have I probably got I got a 1,000-foot spool. It's got at least 800 foot left on it. I got a hell of a deal on it, 29 cents a foot from DX Engineering. They had a sale, and so I should have enough for the rest of my life. But to cut 150 foot off just to test something, and then to have it hanging around, that's just wrong to waste the coax, I think, because I just think it's wrong. You never use it, or you need 100 and then you have 50 foot. I hate throwing coax away. It's so expensive. I mean, I got a good deal, 29 cents a foot on it, and it's good copper stuff. This LMR 400 we use nowadays has got a aluminum jacket, which they say is good, and it does perform well. I like the old days 9913 stuff. You used to buy 50 cents a foot. Oh, it was so soft and it flexed. Oh, it was great coax. But no one can afford that anymore. It's $1.50, $2 a foot. Who can afford that for a hobby? It's different if you're making a living with it, but I'm not. So, anyways, my deal is I got my boxes all done. That's what they look like. I leave them open on the bottom. You see that? We'll look up its skirt here. I just drill the hole big enough so I can pass a PL connector right through it. Because you want it to breathe, you don't want it to hold moisture. And I've opened that one up over there. Hell, it's been out there 6-7 years. It's clean as the day I put it in. So it works. So I still would have ran the coax here. I wouldn't have ran it directly over to the other one. Because again, I want to put a tower here. I don't know, what do you think, that 100-foot run? I think I'm going to replace the coax in the barn too. It's probably 50 foot in the barn. It feeds it into my little room, but I'd like to have a one piece instead of all the jumpers and barrels, because every barrel's a chance. And yeah, I took all that apart, and I actually cut the connectors off thinking water got in here. I don't feel any water, and there's no, yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but when you get water contamination in a coax, usually you can see green and stuff on there. That is as clean as a baby's buttocks. That's where I jury-rigged it to get tested. But it is what it is, man. It needs to be replaced, so no sense crying over it. We'll just have to do it. The good news, I can do most of the job with them. I mean, it's like $100 to rent that thing, but it's worth it, man. I can't trench, because I never could trench it that deep by hand. This is clay. And when it gets done, it's a nice, even job. I mean, look over here. That's in 18 inches, right? It took me about 3 hours to do that. See how nice it is? You know, ain't bad at all, is it? Didn't scar the earth too bad at all. Much nicer than doing it by hand. And we'll come across here. That way it'll be deeper where this path is. So it'll be deeper. So it'll only cost me $100 to fix it. I got the coax. I got the coaxial cable. I bought it when I ran that one from here to that one. And all the conduits here, that's going to be reused. Oh, and the reason I had to redo it a second time, because I want to put a tower out there with a beam, right? Well, a beam's pointing in one direction works great, but there's more than one direction in the world, so I was going to have to trench out a rotor cable anyway. So we'll just do it all at once. I'll do some investigating and get some good variable rotor cable. I've got some rotor cable, but it's not rated for underground. I gotta tell you, I'm tempted to run a piece of conduit under there. Because it would be really sweet if I had conduit. I could just yank it out and replace it. But chances are, if I do it right, I'll never have to do it again. Not in my lifetime. My daughter and my son-in-law, they're not radio people, so when I croak, they won't care about this stuff at all. They'll probably just knock it down, throw it away. So it won't be of any value to them. Probably to somebody who's not a ham, this stuff looks like, that's just stupid. Well, probably is. But you laugh too much. Remember, hams are the ones that did a lot of the research, so all the goodies you use. Packet radio was the beginnings of cell phone technology back in the years and stuff. You probably don't know what packet radio is, but and all that stuff. So a lot of stuff is, I mean, I'm not, but there's a lot of really smart hams that are geniuses. I mean, there's even satellites up, hams put up in the air. I mean, some of these guys and gals are engineers and just flat out geniuses and figure stuff out. And you could never afford to pay them to do all the research it takes to figure the stuff out they do. They do it because they love doing it. And then once they do that, I'm sure if they can figure out some way to, either they or someone else takes it and runs with it, turns it commercial, which is great. Gotta clean up all my tools. Usually you're cleaning up all your tools and you're happy. You're like, yay, this is cool, great. Now you're doing it in defeat. So, but all in all, I usually win when I start. And I will win. I mean, I'm down, but I ain't down for the count. We'll figure this out. We'll just strap a new piece of coax in. I know it's the right coax. Yes, it's the only one that comes in from this part. It's a nice coax. So, anyways, it's life. Life in a big city. All kinds of paperwork. I'm bringing filing cabinets out here and getting the stuff organized. I put one there. I had to cover up my gun signs, but it's not like there's not a few more. See, I got me a big roll of a big LMR 400 and a big roll of RG8X, so I'm good for coax. I got a roll of the rotor wire, but I don't know that it's variable, and I don't want to have this problem again, so I'm going to make sure it's variable. Probably should go out and measure that off and figure out how many feet I need and start picking up supplies. So in spring I won't be able to do it because it'll be too wet. But once it dries out, besides I got another project to do. I gotta redo my bridge. The DEQ gonna give me my permit. I'm not gonna try and go into the creek like it was before. That's a no-no, I guess. I'm a bad dog. So, but they've been pretty cool. I gotta tell you, I was surprised. When I got the first letter, they said, "Hey, what's going on here?" I always thought, "Oh no." Because, you know, I'd heard all the bad stuff, but, I mean, maybe I just got lucky, but the people I'm dealing with, I mean, they're not letting me get away with anything, but they haven't went out of their way to make my life miserable either. So I got to pay them $100 for a permit and do the drawings, and then it'll be good. Oh, there we are. Oh. I'll be able to put my bridge on video at some point. I've always stayed off it because I didn't want anybody to know about it. I got a 35-foot bridge back there I built by hand. Back in the day, as my son says. I couldn't rebuild it myself anymore, but back, there was a day. There was a day. Goodbye, YouTube.